Everybody please welcome, with a big round of applause, Tony Morris.
Good afternoon, everyone. By show of hands, who would like the abilities, the tools and the techniques to be able to phone their perfect prospect and convert that into a sale or an appointment? Okay, all of you. And for those of you who put your hand up, how many of you are willing to do something different to get a better outcome? Okay, almost all of you. Because the truth is, to get a different outcome, you've got to do something different. Something I learned many, many years ago as a sales professional making my business over the telephone was if you're knocking at the door and the door is firmly locked and you keep knocking and the door's not opening, try the window. It's very easy to keep trying the same thing and not get the result that we actually want. Having helped now over 10,000 sales professionals in over 11 years of running Sales Doctors, I've worked with some of the best salespeople in the world. And what I'm going to share briefly today, and more importantly in detail in the Tony Turning Pro course, is what does it take and make to conduct that perfect sales call? Is there such thing? What are the attributes needed to connect with your ideal prospective customer and turn that engagement into an appointment, a sale, or just an opportunity? About 3 months ago, I was networking. I was invited along as a speaker, actually, at a very prestigious networking event. And before I went up to speak, I was making myself a coffee, sitting in sort of the breakout area, and I went up to this guy. I said, "Hi, I'm Tony. What do you do?" And he says, "My name's Bob. I'm actually an accountant." I went, "Okay." And that's about as exciting as the conversation went. I made my coffee, and I went up to a lady. I said, "Hi, I'm Tony. What do you do?" She says, "I'm an architect." I went, "Okay." And she started telling me about some projects in London that she's worked on, and that was it. I went up to the next guy. I said, "I'm Tony. I'm one of the speakers. What do you do?" And this guy says, "I'm a project manager." I said, "Okay." And I sort of went away just to drink my coffee now, and I thought, is that what they do? Because my question was, what do you do? When people used to ask me, "Tony, what do you do?" I used to say, "I'm a sales trainer," or "I'm a professional sales speaker." But that's not what I do. That's what I am. But what do I do? So my answer now is simple. I help people sell more. That's actually what I do. So when people ask you in networking, in conferences, in any business environment, what do you do? What's the actual question they're asking? Any ideas? Good. What can you do for me? They're actually saying, how can you help me? Not what you do. And the same applies when we make that perfect sales call. I hear so often, I was with an IT software company about 3 months ago, training them on making the perfect sales call. And they start off by saying, "We're an award-winning company. We've been trading now for over 27 years. We do this, I am this," and boring, boring, boring. The biggest thing missing is what's in it for me, the prospect that they're trying to engage with. So my first lesson really is when you're making this perfect sales call, don't talk about what you do. Talk about what you've done successfully with people or business like them. What do I mean by that? One of my perfect customers is an estate agent. I'll be more specific, a letting agent in London, probably a size of 15 branches, and my decision maker will be the managing director. So that's my avatar, I think they call it. Why is that my avatar? Because I've been very successful with letting agents of that size. I've got a lot of success stories in that area. So if I was calling the MD of this lettings company, and let's call them Lettings Company as an example, and I phoned Mr. Lettings and I said, "Good afternoon, it's Tony Morris speaking. My name, I run Sales Doctors. We're a sales training company. I've personally been in sales for 19 years. I've written actually over 5 books in sales." He'll put the phone down because it's boring. I've given no value. I've not told him anything in it for him. So before I made that phone call, my first thought is what's going to be his pain? What's the biggest challenge that Mr. Lettings, from the Lettings Co., faces? Now, I know from my experience and my success, and if anyone's in the property game, anyone in a estate agency or letting agency in property, one of the biggest challenges at the moment is a lack of stock in London letting agents. They've got loads of applicants wanting a rent, not enough stock. And I know that from working with them 10 years. So my call would go along the lines of, good afternoon, Mr. Letting Company. Thanks for taking my call. Tony Morris here, I'm Managing Director of the Sales Doctors. Are you familiar with my business? Yes or no? If he says no, okay, to make you aware, I've successfully helped over 145 letting agents in London, such as A, B and C, by helping them double their rental stock without spending an extra penny on marketing. To see if I can help your agency, can I ask you, and I'm going to ask a question, what's he going to be thinking when I make that statement? How? How have you done that? So what have I done? I've engaged him very quickly without talking about what I do, which is boring. Not boring to me, I quite enjoy it, but boring for others. Absolutely. I've backed up with benefits, very good. And as well as backing up benefits, what else did I do? Anyone else pick up in terms of the language I used or what else I did? Good. I name dropped. Absolutely. So I talked success. Not experience, success. I've successfully helped over 145 letting agents, such as A and B. So when I name drop to them, I won't talk about maybe the likes of Foxtons. I'm sure you've all heard of Foxtons, because they've got 65 branches. They're quite big. So if I speak to this MD who looks after maybe 10 branches, I'll give the impression my company's too big for him. I won't talk about Knight Frank or Savills, same reason. So I'll name drop a letting agent that I know he's going to know of, similar size business, and I know I have a similar pain and challenge. So what I want you to think about after today is, who is your avatar? Who are the people that you want to be speaking to? What's their pain points? What's their challenges that your product service can fix? And are you able to talk from a position of strength? Are you able to name drop someone you've helped like them? But most importantly, as well as name dropping, can you talk success? That's key. I remember about a year ago, I was in a meeting, a really big opportunity. It was probably worth about 200 grand of business for my company. And I got down to the last 2 training companies. And I asked the director, are you going to book me? He said, I'm going to be honest, Tony, I'm going to go with the other company. I said, I'm really disappointed, but I want feedback. Why? And the other company was someone called LDL. They're a very big training company in my business. So I said, out of curiosity, why are you choosing them? I really will learn from your feedback. He said, very simple. They've just got a lot more experience than you. I said, really, in what way? So, well, we met with a guy called Peter, I can't remember the surname. He's been doing this now for over 25 years, and that really matters to us. I said, okay, that's fair. I said, can I ask you a question? I said to him. I said, if you were in a boy band right now, who would you rather be? Duncan from Blue or Harry Styles from One Direction? And he laughed. He said, well, obviously Harry Styles. I said, who's got more experience? It's not experience that matters, it's success. You could have done something for 40 years and not be very good at it. What success have you had when you're talking to the perfect prospect? So going back to this networking, I was speaking to these individuals, giving it some thought again. And the accountant that I spoke to right at the beginning, quite an amusing story, he actually tapped me on the shoulder because I was sitting there having my coffee and dipping my biscuit in my coffee. He came up and said, Tony, I'm really sorry to bother you, but can you stop putting your biscuit in my tea? I kid you not. I was sitting there dipping my biscuit. Not relevant to the story. I just thought I had to share that because it's never happened to me before. So what do we do? There's something I want you to think about. I'm not going to bring it up, but I'm going to really help you when you come to the Turning Pro course to really get you to understand what it is you do, How do you help the people that you want to be speaking to? As Bernardo said, part of what I'm going to do for you is get on the phone and make live calls to your perfect prospects. So I want you to come armed with a list of 10 of your perfect ever prospective customers, and I'll personally get on the phone for you on loudspeaker, and I'll make live calls for you because that's my skill set. But I do it not to show off, I do it to demonstrate exactly what I will teach every single one of you in this room, because it is a skill. You know, you're not born to be a good salesperson. Salespeople are made, otherwise I wouldn't have a job. So what I'll be teaching you, if interested, is how to add value and how to engage in 10 to 15 seconds and how to differentiate yourself from all your competition. And part of that is about rapport. We may have heard from this morning from other great speakers, but rapport comes from NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming. It actually comes from the French, en rapport, which is translated as to be in harmony. What does that mean? Let me demonstrate. Can all of you please, I know you've got pen and paper in your hand, if you can all make the shape of a gun with your right hand, please. Perfect. Can you turn that into a circle? Perfect. And can you just place that, please, on your chin? Is that your chin? It's interesting, isn't it? That's called instantaneous rapport. All of us would have just experienced it, but we all would have. You know when you see someone yawn, you automatically yawn, don't you? It's not because you're feeling fatigued or tired, it's because you're in instantaneous rapport with that individual. So what I'll be able to teach you in the Turning Pro session is how can you build rapport with everybody you meet and everyone you converse with over that telephone. One of the techniques that I just used on you is to match and to mirror. But we can take that a bit more advanced. I had a meeting about 3 years ago with this guy, a company called DLG, based in Watford. They're a very big list broker. They sell leads and data. And I'll never forget, I was sitting with Graham Dixon, the head of sales. They've got a big sales floor of about 100 people. And I remember saying to Graham, if we go ahead with the training, what is your biggest goal? He said, Tony, I've got to separate the wheat from the chaff. Now, ignorantly, I had no idea what he was talking about. I should have, but I didn't. But what he meant in his map of the world was get rid of the negative salespeople who didn't want to be there, that were having a bad impact on everybody else. So I said to him, what other goals do you have? He said, I need to improve morale, I need to increase call activity, and I just need better conversion rates. The following day, I did a proposal, and I tabulated the objectives. Top one, separate wheat from the chaff. When he looked at my proposal amongst my competitors, he probably thought, me and Tony, we think exactly the same. So I don't know if that's why I won the business, but it didn't hurt. So if I would have translated that as get rid of the negative salespeople, it wouldn't have resonated in his world. NLP, it teaches us, if we see the world through John Smith's eyes, we're more likely to get John Smith to buy from us. So where we can, we've got to understand their language patterns, use that back to them over the telephone to create that perfect sales call, to engage on their level. And that can be done in a matter of seconds. And I actually believe we don't sell. I do not sell training or speaking. So what do we actually do if we don't sell? Any ideas? Serve. I like that word. Okay, we serve. A little bit British Airways, but we'll go with it. What else? Add value. Good. Yeah, okay. Say again. Provide a solution. Fulfill a need. Okay, you're all close, but no one's hit the nail on the head. Increase profits. Okay. Say again. Okay. I'll stop you there because we haven't only got about 7 minutes left. We don't sell. We help people buy. It's a very big difference. When I make my perfect sales call, I know I can help them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be calling them. You know, I don't phone anybody. I choose who I want to work with. And I learned this by a guy called Art Schoback. He's a very well-known US sales guru. And he calls it smart calling. Because cold calling doesn't work. I don't phone someone out of the yellow pages randomly and hope to sell them something. I choose who I want to work with. I know why, I know what value I can bring, and my job is very simply to help them buy from me. So I never look at the fact that I never apologize for making the call because I know I'm helping them. I'm not embarrassed of picking up the phone because I know I'm helping them. And when I get the opportunity to be in front of them and they finally buy from me, a month later they'll end up thanking me because I've helped them. I've helped them get a return on that investment, which I think is what you said before. That's what it's about. We don't sell. And part of that is about great questioning. I want to give you an example. Imagine you go see doctor number one and you say to the doctor, I've got a splitting headache. And the doctor says, you need some paracetamol. There you go. If the pain persists, see me again. Then you go to doctor number two, you say, doctor, I have a splitting headache. The doctor sits you down and says, where in your head is the pain? And you say, right in the middle, in my temples. When in the day do you get the pain, he asks. When I wake up. I open my eyes and it's pounding. He says, when you say it's pounding on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excruciating, where are you? You say about a 7. He said, okay. How much liquid do you drink in the day? You say about a litre on average. Okay, and how often do you work out or do any exercise? So I go to the gym 3 times a week. Okay. From what you've told me, I would recommend some paracetamol. If the pain persists, come back and see me. Which doctor would we all see? Second one, I hope, yeah? Can I ask you, which doctor's better medically trained? First, the same, absolutely. The truth is we don't know, do we? But why would we all, I hope, see number 2? Took the time, so showed an interest. Fair to say, made us comfortable. Fair to say, I trusted his opinion. Fair to say he was more knowledgeable. Good. We don't know, actually. Because what knowledge did he share? 0. He could have been the janitor, right? But by asking those questions, the perception, and by the way, perception is reality, by asking the questions gave the perception he was the expert. So many times when I hear people make this perfect sales call, they speak 90% of the time. And the prospect, if he gets a word in, speaks 10%. I call it the salesman's puke. And no one likes to be puked on. Our job is to engage. The only way to engage and get them to buy from us is get them talking. They say in building rapport, don't be interesting, be interested. So what I'll be teaching you at the Turning Pro course is how to question effectively. I call them killer questions. It's taken me over 18 years now in sales to design killer questions for my business and over 300 of my clients' businesses. There's a skill and a technique to it, and I will teach you that ingredient to ask killer questions, because that's what matters. I will develop your listening skills so you know what to listen out for and how you can use that information to your advantage to engage better and convert a prospect into a customer. And I want to finish on this, because there's something else I'm going to teach you. Imagine all of you in this room swap jobs with me. So imagine from Monday, all of you now have my job. You're now managing director of Sales Doctors, a sales training company. And as MD, all of you now have got to go out there and win one customer. Who would you phone? Please write down who you'd phone. You're now MD of my company. You've got to go out in this big, wide world and win one customer who you're going to deliver sales training for. Who'd be your first call? Think about your friends for a second. Think about your family. Think about maybe previous places you work or where you just worked because your job no longer exists. And please write it down. Write down the name of the company and who within that company would you phone. Can I have a show of hands who was able to think of somebody that they would call as MD of this company? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, about 10 of you. I'm going to be around for a little bit more this afternoon, and I'm going to give you my business card. And if you rated me and thought, you know what, this guy's good, he's taught me something, I'd love to speak to the people you just thought of and wrote down in your book. They'd be very good businesses for my company. That's just one referral technique I'm going to teach you, but I'll teach you a lot more when you come to the Turning Pro course, to how to increase your business fivefold by doing little things differently and becoming that expert on the phone. Thank you very much.